Okay, let's see, guys. We're gonna wait to see if the sound is on. As you know, I haven't been on live in a long time because I've been married. That's another subject for another day. But yes, I am married. We're just gonna let this load, let people come in. I recently made a video about the new decree, but I think it's better if we just sit down and we break it down. A lot of people thought that I was a little bit too negative on that video, but I'm playing the devil's advocate. I'm a realist. I know that life is not black and white. And in this video, we're going to just calm down and talk a little bit about how this decree has been passed and how it's going to change the lives of thousands of people, tens of thousands of people. Their lives are going to change. Hello, Wayne. So the most important thing is that you guys have to understand that this decree has actually already been signed. Here in Russia, it's already in Siberia, August 21, but the decree was passed and signed in August 19th. We are going to be looking at professionals talking about this subject so that we can talk about it amongst the community. I will say, if you're watching this video now and you want to join the live and give your opinion, you will be able to do that. I will be allowing guests on the show. So if you want to be a guest, you have to come and comment, and I'll give you the link and you can join. I'll allow only one guest at a time, so nobody's speaking over each other. That's something that we're going to do on this live today. Yeah, we can also talk about the invasion into Russia, but that's going to be at the end of this show. This is going to be very important for the new decree, and that's going to be coming up in the next 5 minutes or so. We're going to start talking about it. We're going to let people come in and join. For now, let's answer some of your guys' questions. Mr. Dan, will you try to use the law to get temporary residency? I'm not going to try to use this. I'm going to try to do it the old-fashioned way. The only reason why I don't think it's going to work for me is because I was married under my Mexican citizenship, and I'm not sure if Mexico is going to be on the list of countries, right? Remember, the Russian government still has to make a list of countries that will qualify for this sort of resident temporary residency. That's going to be something we're going to talk about a little bit later as people start loading in. But for now, let's see. Give me 5. Smoking the devil's lettuce on the balcony. Now, that's really funny that you talk about that, Wayne, because that's going to be part of the subject that we talk about today on this live. Because conservative values in Russia are not the same conservative values as in the United States or in the Western world. That's something that I think Russia's miscalculating. We'll talk about that again in a few minutes. We're going to let this live load until we have about 50 viewers so we can start talking about the decree. A lot of the things that I say are going to be resaid maybe 30 minutes from now so that new viewers coming in can understand what's happening. So here, I'm going to go ahead and load the first video that we're going to watch together about exactly. Let's do that now. Now remember, comment please if you can hear what's on the screen. Yeah, all right, here we go. Let's put this on.
Hi everyone.
Remember, as we're watching this video, guys, remind me if you can hear what's on the video. Remember to tell me, comment, and to let me know. Here we go.
I'm very happy to speak to you today, even on this video, for several reasons. And reason number one, which is amazing, in my opinion, there are so many people that for the last 3 years in Russia has been working on that, and so many people around the world that have been waiting for this moment to come. And as you already understood, I'm speaking about the new presidential decree that came into force today. So this presidential decree basically says that those foreign nationals that reside in their countries which do not support traditional values, conservative families, which promote neoliberal agenda, such foreign nationals will be able to move to Russia. And they will be able to move to Russia without a quota, which is an immigration quota set every year by Russian government for each region of Russia. So no longer the quota is required. And number two is that there is no need to pass the Russian language test. So the quota by itself would allow a foreign national to apply for a 3-year temporary residency permit. So now with this new decree, if you come from a country which supports neoliberal values, basically you are eligible to apply for a 3-year temporary residency permit without passing the Russian language test. We think this is literally changing of the whole Russian immigration system, which for the last 30 years was not focused on bringing people to Russia specifically.
I'm going to stop it there, guys. Can you guys hear me? How's the audio? I have the headphones on. Let me know if you can hear me still. I have to pause it there because this is definitely the game changer. This is something that hasn't happened in Russia in such a big, massive way. You know, you have Peter the Great who brought European influence, even Catherine, like these leaders of Russia who opened the doors for immigrants, guys. This is the new wave, the new possibility of Russia bringing in, you know, foreigners from different countries. This is absolutely fascinating. Before, the West used to think that Russia had like closed doors, and actually it was very hard to make a living in Russia. But just taking that language barrier, I know I said in my video, you know, I was playing the devil's advocate, but it does facilitate it. There's already hundreds, if not thousands of people living in Russia who came before the decree. Let's think about it. There's hundreds of immigrants who came to Russia because they found Russia attractive before the decree. Now, these people perhaps cannot learn Russian. It's a very difficult language. Я учу русский. This thing is hard. But when they take away the language barrier, this says, okay, you can be a resident. Here's a 3-year residency. Try to learn Russian. If you don't get it, you can renew it. Just for your information, guys, that is absolutely new to Russia, because Russia was always on expert level mode. It was not for beginners. If you wanted to come to Russia, it was really, really hard. We'll get back to the video, but remember how I always say Russia's not for beginners. This makes the bar a little bit lower. This makes it to where maybe you can make a living in Russia. This new possibility of getting, I guess, like a beginner's handicap, this is fascinating. Let's continue with the video and we'll keep digesting it.
From the Western countries, because there was no such a trend. And now we know the trend is there. How it will work in practice? In practice, it will work in a way that you would be able to apply for a 3-month visa in your home country. Once you get this visa, you will be able to come to Russia on that private visa and submit application for a 3-year temporary residency permit.
All right, we're going to stop them there because this is a really good question, guys. The way to do this, it's not a program, okay? It's not a program at all. You simply have to travel to Russia on a tourist visa. And once you're inside of Russia, and I think maybe other visas also qualify, because once you're in Russia, that's where the process begins, okay? Just keep that in mind. This is not a program. This is just a new unlocked ability for obtaining a temporary residency. The only thing that's changing is you're not going to have to learn the Russian language. Let's continue watching this video because this guy's an actual professional, and let's see what he has to say.
You will still need to provide documents such as police check, apostilled from the country, from your home country, You would still need to do the medical test here in Russia and some bureaucratic procedures here in Russia. It's advisable, of course, to seek for professional assistance for one reason, that once you come to Russia, you bring your documents and you think that the documents are okay. If there is a mistake.
Yes, absolutely right. For some people who already have residency, really this probably doesn't affect them as much. But like Real Estate Productions said, guys, and by the way, thank you for being a member of the channel. If in the future his kids or maybe some of his family wants to try Russia, this is definitely going to make it more attractive and much easier. Now, in the video, he just mentioned that you still need to have that background check apostilled, right? You still have to follow the rules that were already put. Obtaining the temporary residency is going to be the same way. You still need the same paperwork. The only difference is here that you don't need the language test. You also don't need basic information on Russian law and Russian history. So the bar has been lowered, but they're still going to do, hopefully, and extend their due diligence and make sure that they check everybody before they come in, right? This is obviously not a free ticket into Russia. You still need to do the right paperwork. Let's continue watching. Please, by the way, if you're enjoying this live and you're finding it informative, make sure you subscribe and hopefully you hit a like.
Imagine you'll have to go back to correct that. So it's advisable still to consult a lawyer, although luckily, hopefully, things would be much better. That's going to happen very, very soon. The decree comes into force as of today, but there are certain provisions that will come a bit later, because what are those countries? So the decree clearly states that those countries will be, the list of those countries will be established by the Russian government. So the Russian government within the next month would determine what are those countries. Well, my wild guess is that those are so-called unfriendly countries that Russia believes that are unfriendly to Russia.
And just as Showtime asked this question, the professional had the same feeling that I had, guys. He basically is saying like, okay, you guys know Russia has a list of unfriendly countries. Well, those unfriendly countries usually have liberal or a broken society. They have a society that is rotting and degrading, which is why they're on the unfriendly list, because being unfriendly, their society has negative views on Russia. Let's break that down. The professional just said that maybe the unfriendly list, those countries may be on the list of countries that will be accepted as, let's just call it, immigration, new immigrants for Russia. Let's call them new immigrants for Russia. The new immigrants for Russia will be accepted, probably most likely from unfriendly countries. Keep that in mind. America is definitely on it. Let's see. Dan, I'm getting set up to come if I can. I'd love to chat about this. Listen, if you guys want to join me on this live, comment on the comment section, and you're more than welcome to give your opinion on this situation. I think it would add greatly to this live. Just let me know. Let's continue with the video.
Sure that all of them will be included into this list. So once you come to Russia, you apply for the 3-year temporary residency permit. You have 3 years to study the Russian language, because the next step into your immigration process will be applying for the permanent residency. At that moment, you'll have to pass the Russian language test, but you will have 3 years. Yeah, there is no pressure on you like it is now when you come to Russia, and for many foreigners, they get a 3-month visa, and they are basically struggling to get the knowledge of the Russian language to a level where they have to pass the test within 3 months.
This is why it's a huge game changer. Imagine you come to Russia as a tourist and you love it and you enjoy it and you want to experience more of it, right? you won't have to leave the country and come back like I'm doing. I'm still in Russia as a tourist, even though I'm married. But with this, it gives you a temporary residency to test the waters. Try to learn Russian, because the permanent residency is actually the more important one. It's going to be the middle ground. I feel like this is going to be a middle ground between tourism, experiencing Russia as a tourist, and experiencing Russia a little bit more seriously on a temporary residency. And then you have that permanent residency, and finally a citizenship if you would like it. I feel that Russia's doing the right move. What I had a problem with is the way they worded it, and we'll talk about that later. I made a video. It has over 30,000 views. It's actually a little bit going a little bit out of control right now. It's getting a lot of views because I gave my opinion playing the devil's advocate. Life is not black and white. Let's continue watching the video. Again, if you want to join this live, let me know and I'll give you the link. Here we go.
This is quite hard, if not impossible at all. Another thing that I wanted to tell you is that as of June 10th, I was keeping silent, but as of June 10th, I am working as a first deputy director of Oka, that's the name of the river, Regional Immigration Agency. And half of my week I am based in Nizhny Novgorod, which is an amazing region, and I invite you to this region because the governor of the Nizhny Novgorod region several months ago decided that Nizhny needs to be the capital to bring foreigners to Russia. So Google Nizhny Novgorod, will provide more information about Nizhny Novgorod and what it can offer. Believe me, it's a wonderful, wonderful city. Thank you.
And that's the end of that video. Now, Russia is very diverse. What he's talking about is bringing new residents to different regions of Russia. And one of the things that was also wavered was the quota. Before, there used to be only a certain amount of people could come to certain oblasts or certain regions. Now they're going away with that, right? Let's say that before 10 people could move into Russian oblast, Moscow oblast, or let's use my oblast, Irkutsk oblast. Let's say they had a quota, how many people could come in a year. Now that quota is going to disappear, and it's going to allow more people to immigrate into Russia under a temporary residency. Oh, thank you so much for the donation. Guys, this is really great. Let's see what you have to say. Is there any colleges, schools, particularly for young people? The West broke down basic fundamentals, values, and killed economic options, made marriage dreaded. It's all broken. Young men are seeking hope. Any opportunity is better than nothing. So, Reiner, this is absolutely a great question. In Russia, you could even come as a student and make a living here. I know many Westerners that are actually studying in Russia. There's huge opportunities right now to come to Russia on a student visa. And I made a video about that, by the way, already. But you can come as a student and you can ultimately lead into permanent residency after you graduate and you get a job. That's another way of coming to Russia. But if I were you, I would wait to see the list, Reiner. See the list of countries. If your country's on the list that can come and be a temporary resident under this new decree, I would do it that way. Why? Because under this way, you can actually also be a student. You can work your way into getting a job or being a student. What this is going to allow is you to make a new life and test the waters in Russia. Studio Reiner, let me know if I answered your question. I really appreciate the donations, guys. This kind of donation helps for me to pay for the electric bill to continue doing these lives. I'm going to move on now, Reiner, but if you have any more questions, just make sure to ask, okay? As I was saying, thank you. You know, to move a little bit sideways on the conversation, this ring, guys, is probably something you guys were not expecting. If you're a new viewer, I got married, but I didn't get married to get residency. Although it may facilitate my road to residency, I'm going to try to do it the old-fashioned way. In Russia, nothing's very clear, right? There's many roads to finding what you want. Getting married in Russia could probably help me get residency, but we'll see what happens when I apply. If I fall under this new decree, if I fall under being married, you know, if you don't know, this is not a guarantee for residency in Russia. Getting married is not a guarantee. So I did not get married to get Western residency. I just had to make that clear. Thank you so much, Ricardo. I really appreciate you, brother. Um, let's see. Why are you wearing a telnashka? I'm wearing it because this is a pajamas. This is what we wear here in Russia. This is what people wear indoors. This is really comfortable. Let's move on. I want you guys to know that if you never had hope, if you felt like you were struggling and couldn't find a way to come to Russia, this is definitely a bright, bright light for you guys. And what's more important is you'll have people on the inside who are going to do it, and we'll be able to report to you exactly how it's done. As soon as we see the list of the countries, I'm going to make a video on it. As soon as we get more information, you have to understand that you can come back to these channels that are going to report everything for you guys. And we can do it live just like this so you can feel like you're part of the conversation. Shout out to all my SoCal brothers. Yeah, a lot of people from California are here in Russia. A big misconception is that Russia is like an ultra conservative country. It is not, guys. Russia is more like in the middle, which being conservative is basically in the middle. So I really appreciate that. A lot of Californians are here. Okay, let's look at another video. This is the place where President Putin gets told by the Italian woman, hey, can you make it easier? It's going to be in Russian, and I'll break it down for you.
Специальная организация индивидуального сопровождения, обеспечение услуги, то есть культурный, трудовой и социальные услуги для людей, которые хотят переехать сюда. И даже предлагаю организовать дистанционное информирование через интернет-платформу для импатриантов о возможностях переезда в Россию. Владимир Владимирович, я лично готова в этом помогать и получить российское гражданство, чтобы построить свою дальнейшую жизнь в этой прекрасной стране, в России. Спасибо вам большое.
That's what started everything, guys. That woman there stood up and said, by the way, is there anything that we can do to organize and facilitate for people to come to Russia? You know, she's not asking for asylum. She's not asking for Russia to open its doors to everybody. She's just saying, make it a little bit easier, because there's a lot of people who already are in Russia. There's already people who want to be in Russia. There's already people who dream about Russia. But Russia lacked the infrastructure. Russia lacked the laws. Russia lacked the attention to this issue. And guess what? Now this decree by President Putin facilitates this for many people. That is the video. That is where it stems from. It doesn't stem from the Canadian family who recently got, I think, asylum, which I'm so proud of them. Like, I don't know them personally, but if you make a move with a family and you are not basically running from something, but you want to give your children something better because it's attractive, that's why people should move to Russia, because Russia is already an attractive country. That's why in my video I had kind of problems with how things were worded. Now we're going to look and read part of the decree in English, like a summary, and then we'll break it down. Let me calm down a little bit. I get too excited. I need to calm down. I need to calm down. So far we've looked at the video of a professional speaking about the new decree. We saw the video of the woman who started everything. I want to make also, we talked about how getting married doesn't secure you residency here in Russia. These are very important topics because we also don't know exactly what countries will be on the list. Is there anybody who wants to join me on this live? I'm gonna give an option of anybody who's watching to join me so that you can give your opinion live. I'm gonna do this about every 10 minutes. So if you're watching and you feel like you want to give your opinion, I think it would be absolutely wonderful. I don't think it's ever been done. Audience joining the live. So I want anybody who disagrees with it, anybody who's in the middle, and anybody who agrees with it to join me on the live. I want this to be a productive conversation. I have already played the devil's advocate on my last video, which has over 30,000 views, and I'm open to bringing people on. Okay. So again, if you want to join me, let me know, and I'll share the link with you. Let's now look at the news article that came out here in Russia. Okay. Okay. So while you guys are getting ready, if you want to join, excuse me, let's look at the news article. Here we go. Oops. 1 second, guys. I need to get this opened here. Yes, here we go. Guys, this is going to be the news article that came out here in Russia. So it's not a direct translation, but it is something that came out that you guys will be able to see with your own eyes. Maybe you can't read it. Can you guys read this? I'm going to read it out loud, and then we'll talk about it. Again, this came out on the Russian news agency, and there's already a decree in Russian. So let's look into it. Russia offers safe haven for people trying to escape Western liberal ideas. So this is the premise of their idea, is that they're betting on people wanting to escape Western liberal ideas. I'll give you my opinion on all of this after. Moscow, August 19. Moscow will provide assistance to any foreigners who want to escape the neoliberal ideals being put forward in their countries and move to Russia, where traditional values reign supreme, according to a decree signed by President Vladimir Putin. Under the document, such foreign nationals will have the right to apply for temporary residence in Russia outside of the quota approved by the Russian government and without providing documents confirming their knowledge of the Russian language, Russian history, and basic laws. Applications may be based on the rejection of their country's policies aimed at imposing destructive neoliberal ideals on people which run counter to traditional Russian spiritual and moral values. The values are listed in the foundations of the Russian state policy in the field, while the Russian government is expected to complete a list of countries imposing unhealthy attitudes on their citizens. The Foreign Ministry has been instructed to start issuing 3-month visas to such applicants as early as in September. So that is the news article. That is the news article on this topic. I want to point out to you guys that in this news article, it does state that the Russian government is understanding now. Finally, it's understanding that it is in a power position. Russia has reached a power position. Maybe it was the Olympics that pushed the West over the top, but Russia is realizing there's a lot of countries that have a lot of unhappy people. And I feel that Russia is realizing, wait a minute, we're not pushing a lot of crazy agendas on our people. Let's open the door to the people who fear the agenda of their country, and let's test the waters. That's how I see it. Um, let's look at this donation. Um, let's look at this donation, and then we'll invite our first guests. Guys, this live is going to be a very unique and special live. We're going to allow the viewer to join and voice his opinion. Let's see. As a lifelong American, I can with certainty state that NATO is serving the satanic destiny and Russia is fighting for God. Be it with Christian or Muslim, NATO is evil empire in Star Wars. You know, I've given my military analysis on the Real Reporter channel on this kind of topic. We will be speaking military stuff at the end of this live, but for now, let's see who wants to be the first guest. By the way, thank you so much for the donation. Truly, I appreciate it. I let you guys know that this show is running because of you. So, who wants to be the first guest? I'm open to having people who agree with it, people who don't agree with it, and people who are on the middle. I'm going to give you guys the live link. I'm going to pin it, but remember, we're going to talk about this for about 5 minutes with each guest, and it's going to only be one guest at a time. If we have contrary thoughts, we will bring 2 people on. That's how it's going to work. So here we go. This is going to be this is going to be the link to join. It's going to be pinned, and only one viewer at a time can join, so we're not talking over each other. It looks like we already have a viewer here, and it's someone that I'm really familiar with, a good man. Let's see, Wayne. I think you're muted, brother.
Yeah, I was having a bit of a problem. Sorry, new computer.
Welcome.
Yeah, things aren't quite in the same places. Anyway, there was a couple things about what you said that kind of threw me. One is, okay, this bit about knowing the Russian language. My grandmother lived here 60 years. She never learned English.
Yeah.
I translated for her.
Yeah, my mom also lived in the United States for 30.
I can't speak Freelian anymore. It's been too damn long, but I used to be able to do it. So I don't see that that's a big deal as long as there's someone willing to step in and do the translation work and help out. While my grandmother couldn't speak, she could understand most of what other people were saying, so that got her over. Another point is you said conservative. How do you define conservative? Conservative Canadians smoke weed, drink beer, drive snowmobiles at the speed of light across the landscape, run around waving sticks in the air enthusiastically, and doing all sorts of crazy things.
Can I stop you, Wayne? This is exactly my point that I tell people. I tell people conservatives in Russia are not the same as conservatives in America, in Canada. And a lot of people in the comment sections will say, yes, this is a good move for conservatives who want to move to Russia. Guys, be careful what you wish for, because conservatism, being a conservative, that's such a tongue twister for me. Being a conservatist is different in Russia than it is in Canada, like Wayne is letting you know. So, but by the way, Wayne, thank you for joining us. I had a question for you. Just to clarify, what exactly do you feel about this new decree? Is it a good, positive thing for Russia? Is it a little bit iffy, or is it a bad thing?
Could be both ways. My main concern would be spies getting in. You've got the possibility of assets getting in, a spy, or a couple saboteurs and blowing stuff up. That sort of stuff it's just too much of a possibility. And one other thing I should point out. Do you know that passports didn't exist before 1920?
I didn't know that, but those are good points, Wayne.
Yeah,
Thank you for joining. I
we
have to
can,
move on though.
okay, sorry,
Okay.
one last thing. You mentioned, um, sorry, you mentioned this in regards to getting people into the country, but you didn't mention the big bugaboo that comes up about Russia, which is the same bugaboo that Canada has. We're fucking cold. Most people can't adjust.
Yeah. This is why I also say, Wayne, that if you want to travel to Russia, it's on expert level, but Canadians are high up there. And actually, a lot of my viewers, you guys are from Canada. You guys are ready for Russia if you want to move. Wayne, thank you so much for joining us and being the first guy on, brother.
Have a good day.
Bye. And just like that, that was our first guest. Let me know what you guys thought. We're gonna try to keep it to like about 5 minutes minimum so that everybody gets to talk. That was really fun. I think this is a very cool experience. We're gonna move on to the next viewer. After we go through the guests, we will be going over what we're talking about over and over again. All right, guys. So let's continue. Reiner, I'll get to your question. Let's get to the next guest. It's going to be Ricardo. Okay, here we go.
Hey, Dan.
You're on, brother. Hello.
How are you? Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
You can put a face to the name. I'm actually, I'm thrilled. I'm really thrilled because one of the main concerns we had is I'm married, as you know. For those that didn't see the comment, I'm married to a Russian woman. So eventually there's a path there, and I've started to learn a bit of Russian and everything. I think with the immersion, it'll go a lot faster than it is by using Babbel or any of those apps. But I'm happy to hear that they will have a 3-year for the permanent residency where you can learn, and I think that's crucial. That's a crucial part. I'm in Montreal in Quebec in Canada, and we've had people try to come here, and you have to learn French, which I think is normal. When you move to a country, you should learn the local language. I have no issue with that. But here they put a 6-month thing. There's no way you can learn French in 6 months and have a conversation and you have to lead your life. You got to earn an income and learn the language. I think it's unreasonable.
Yeah, these hurdles that you talk about, like Quebec and Canada having these hurdles, I feel that this is more of a image that people give to Russia, right? Like in Russia, it's there's a lot of hurdles. Me living here, I learned about the hurdles, and this is definitely one that they take away. And we're both married. And ultimately, this is a road to some way getting residency. But there's other players that want to join the Russian server. I'll call it that.
Course.
And this is definitely a fascinating new thing that Russia has opened itself a little bit. I'm going to ask you the same thing that I asked Dwayne. I know it's like it has a lot of nuance, but do you see it more as a positive thing, a negative thing, or it's in between for you too?
I see it as an extremely positive thing if it's executed right. And what I mean by that is that you can see large influxes of people, whether they're under refugee status, fleeing the Middle East, fleeing Ukraine, fleeing wherever, war zones across the planet, And to give you an example, I'm from Chile originally. I still have family there. My mom is there. There's thousands and thousands of Venezuelans that moved there. Right, but they fled with nothing, and they had to start over. So they become, difficult to assimilate. Well, it's easier in Chile for Venezuelans because they speak the same language. They both speak Spanish, but it's difficult to assimilate. You need to get your studies equivalency if you went to school. You need to, find employment, et cetera, et cetera. So I think the way it seems so far from what I've read that Russia is going to execute this plan seems like they're on the right track if done right. Plus, there's my wife, who's Russian, always reminds me 27 million Soviets died, and that does never seem to rectify itself. So I think this will help with an influx of quality people with the same values that eventually will learn the language. I think will be tremendous to join the workforce.
You brought up a point that we haven't even mentioned yet, is that yes, this is going to hopefully boom somehow the population in Russia. And I want to dive into that a little bit later. And if you're still on the stream, just know that you reminded me that that's a very important point, because here in Russia, in the part where I live, it's very it's huge. I live in Irkutsk Oblast. It's larger than Texas, but the population is very low, and we could use a lot of new immigrants with this quota removal. This is definitely like another game changer, like I keep saying, for Russia. Oh, man. Is there anything else you'd like to say?
No, I was just like I was saying in the comments earlier, I'm thrilled because, you know, I have family scattered a little bit all over the place. I have family in Sweden. I have family in Arizona. I have family in, everybody's like, oh, so you're going to Russia. Tell me more, you know?
Yeah.
But they don't have the advantage that I do by being married to a Russian woman. So there may be a possibility for them to, you know, think about it. Some quality people too, you know, some of them are doctors, and my wife's a nurse, like things that any nation could benefit from, for sure.
I feel that Russia might be surprised with just how good this may turn out. In my opinion, I made the video, like I said, and I was playing the devil's advocate, playing with nuance, but I feel that Russia wasn't paying attention so much to the people that actually wanted to come, and now they realize it. Now, like I said, they know they're in this position of like, let's put a little bit of honey and see how many bees come to eat from this.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Ricardo.
Just
and by the way,
a comment, Dan, if I may. No, it was just it's going to sound like I'm ignorant, but my first time going to Russia in 2014, you know, you have this preconceived, I grew up in Montreal, although I'm from South America, watching hockey, seeing Russian hockey players. So you have a stereotypical idea of what a Russian person looks like. And I was astonished and amazed, and I thought it was so beautiful that there's over 100 ethnicities there in Russia. You know, there's room for everybody. And I saw, you know, I met a guy from Nigeria, a student, you know, and I was like, oh, this is great. You know, it's a lot more diverse than we thought it was. Well, I thought
I get goosebumps. I get goosebumps when you say that, man, because people don't know. At my wedding, we had 5 continents. Like my guests came from 5 continents, and I just still get goosebumps talking about it. That is a beautiful point. A lot of people don't know how diverse Russia is until they come. Thank you so much again, Ricardo.
My pleasure. Good to see you, Dan. Cheers.
I'll see you.
All the best.
Thank you. Okay, guys, that was a fascinating conversation. We're going to move on to the next donation and talk a little bit. In 2 minutes, I'll get to you, Christina. And Silencer, I don't see you on screen, but Christina is going to be next. Let's see what we have here. Let me get to the chat. So I loved Russian since I was in high school, 38 years old now. And back in Canada after 8 years in China, I didn't go to Russia because it was too hard. I am leaving for Paraguay in January, but would love to switch for Russia for sure. I'm going to give you some advice. If you have the possibility of traveling to Russia, don't even think about moving there. Just go as a tourist. It'll change your life. It'll change your life. And the next guest that we have is she's probably going to be able to tell you the difference of being in Russia and leaving Russia. So IFH, go to Paraguay and then visit Russia while, take a vacation to Russia. Thank you so much for the donation. Thank you so much for the support. It means a lot. So here we go, guys. We're going to have, Silencer has his camera on. Well, Silencer, we're going to have Christina on next, and we'll get to you after. I didn't know you had your camera on. Sorry. Okay, here we go, guys. Christina.
Hey.
It's so nice to have you here.
Hi, Dan. Привет.
Hello, hello.
It's good to be here.
Привет.
Thank you.
Now,
I
before you start talking, let me give
today.
Yeah. Can I introduce you, because I think your story is absolutely fascinating, and I just want to give you the proper introduction, guys. This woman here is a fantastic human being. She's got a family. She's married a Russian man, correct?
Yes.
She's traveled to Russia, has experienced Russia. I believe she has a Russian soul, and she's about to give you guys her take probably on the video that I made and her experience in Russia. Go ahead, Christina. Sorry.
Where do you want me to start? Do you want me to start with how I was in Russia recently?
Yes. Could you please just please just give your example of what it feels like to be in Russia and not.
Okay. So I came to Russia right before the new year. for the first time ever. My husband and I have been married for 15 years. We have 4 kids together. Half of my kids are Russian citizens, but as a family, we've never traveled there. And in recent years, we've kind of kicked around the idea of moving to Russia, but I'd never been there. And then, of course, the SMO started, and that kind of like, we put that on a back burner. But I went to Russia for the first time at the end of December as a tourist. I wanted to see the country. I was really curious about it. I had some really like just a positive pull, definitely, to go. And I went without my husband, without my kids. Well, no, I took my 2 daughters with me first. And it was amazing. I was really blown away. So when I told people I was going to Russia, I got a lot of people that were like, "You are? Oh my gosh." And other people, like I literally had a man screaming at me in Washington, D.C. When I went there to get my visa. When he found out I was going to Russia, he was like, "Don't go there. You'll go to jail. You're an American. Don't go." And, you know, so I was like, what's really going to happen? So I got there and I didn't go to jail. I didn't get interrogated. I got on the streets in the middle of winter and I was like, oh my gosh, I have arrived. And it was beautiful. It was beautiful.
So if you're watching this, guys, listen to this, man. This happens to a lot of people. When you give the idea about Russia, they don't want you to go. Their understanding of it is very warped. But with this new decree, more people will get the opportunity to come here and experience it for themselves. What do you think about the decree? Like I asked everybody else, do you see it as a very positive thing, in the middle, or a negative thing? Just voice your opinion about that, please.
Yeah, well, I have some practical questions about it. Having been there recently this year for a total of about 5.5 months, I was working really hard to learn the language, navigate the immigration process, and all of that. And one thing I was wondering, you know, what are all these people going to end up doing for a living if they don't have to learn the language? If they don't have to learn the laws and the culture, how are they going to assimilate? So is there some sort of process? Pardon my voice, I've been sick. I'm back in America. Anyway, is there going to be some sort of vetting process, some sort of interview questionnaire to confirm, first of all, that these people share the values of traditional Russia? And then what are they going to do for a living? Are they going to learn the language? How are their kids going to go to school? Kind of practical questions about that. But yeah. I think this policy is a great first step.
I'm so happy to hear that. You know, and you and I, we kind of we're on the same road, you know. We are just hoping that, and we understand Russia is very meticulous. They're going to do their due diligence. We understand. But guys, if you're watching, when we ask, like, what about this? What about that? It's not that we're being negative. We just know and understand that where we come from, things are a little bit broken. And while we're in Russia, we see that it's not broken. We don't want it to become a poop storm, for lack of better words. I'm sorry. But it seems like from all the guests right now, Christina, you seem to have a different view than other people. And that's why I wanted to bring guests, because we get to see that we have different ideas and we're thinking differently about this decree. Is there anything else you'd like to say before we move on to silencer?
Well, just to kind of like touch back on what we were talking about at first, when I came to Russia, what blew me away the most was how united everybody was. Like, they were so friendly. It was like the environment was conducive to happiness. Like, they're trying to make the people feel positively about their country, about their community, about everybody as a whole. And then now I'm back in America and it's very divided. People are fighting. It's not the same. And so, yeah.
I forgot that we talked about that. That's the biggest part that kind of will make people try this out. You know the difference now between Russia and America, and say that you were like, there's other people in your same position where they're in America, they travel to Russia and they really like it. Now they have a chance to apply for temporary residency where they don't have to go back and feel that emptiness where they have to drive 30 minutes to go shopping for some potatoes. Thank you so much, Christina, for being on.
Thank you.
All right. I'm loving this, having guests on. Christina has experienced both sides, and she knows the feeling of being in Russia, falling in love with Russia, and not wanting to leave Russia. So let's move on here. We're gonna take two more guests. We have three more guests, guys, and we're gonna move on to talking about the decree all over again. So let's move on here. We have Silencer. You're coming on live, brother. Here we go. Welcome.
Oh,
You're on.
cool. Hey,
So
man,
what do
what's
you
up?
what do you think about
Hey, congratulations on your wedding.
that? Thank you.
I appreciate you taking my call.
No worries. All right. So what's on your mind?
So like my family was from Russia. My mom was from Ukraine, and I'm from California now. Man, I can't hear myself. Sorry. Um, yeah. So I love the Mexican people. I love everything about it. I love America, and I'm really happy to be here. And I'm just happy for you guys to like. Hold on. Man, I got sorry, my friend. Um, yeah. So I think the politicians are the ones that are screwing everyone over. You know, like we as a people, we love each other. You know.
Yeah, definitely. I feel that, look, with your background and your family being Russian and Ukrainian and going to California, you see how our in America, our government divides us a lot. Okay, our government is always playing tricks on us and stuff like this. So if somebody wants to leave the games and tricks and wants to try Russia for a little bit, this new decree is
Yeah.
going to give you the opportunity. I personally think that it's a great thing. And Mexicans and Russians, we mix really good, by the way. As you saw, I am married, and yeah. So just can you tell me, Silencer, what do you think? Is this a good thing or a bad thing? Is this decree a good thing or a bad thing?
I think it's a great thing, you know, like more people that have children from different races. It's just, it brings more opportunity to everyone. Just love everywhere, you know, like I want to spread love for everyone, you know.
All right.
God bless you, and everyone here.
Thank you
Yeah,
for being positive, brother. Thank you for joining us.
you could, yeah, you could take me out.
All right. Hey, it takes a lot to go on live and speak your mind. It's not easy, guys. So the people that have come on so far, I commend you. This is really, really cool. I appreciate your time. We're going to move on to our last two guests. If you're ready and you're watching, we're gonna have LA Throne on, and then Foes Nuts. Guys, let's keep it short so that we can move on to the next segment. Okay, here we go. LA Throne, you're coming on. And hello and welcome.
Hey, Daniel, can you hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear. Thank you.
Hey, Daniel, Semper Fi, Toy for Hunden. And also congratulations on your marriage, man. I hope it's long and prosperous, man. My
Thank you
father
so
was a
much,
Marine.
brother. Your father is a brother to me, a hero. Thank you for his service.
No problem, man. Well, I think about the decree from, I heard about it from Andrei Martyanov. Not sure if you follow him or like that, but from what I understand, he's a ex Soviet in military intelligence. He used to be in the Soviet Union at one point. He moved to America several years back. But from what I understand, the decrees, you said it was about temporary residency, right?
Yeah.
I think if it's done, if it's executed correctly, it won't turn out like how, say, what the UK is experiencing right now with, with the immigration coming in, like something like it was like 100 boats a day or something like that, or like 100 migrants or whatever. But
It got out of
the
control.
itself is becoming more and more Muslim, and the country was never like that. But the country is, let me speak of the UK. The UK was accepting of other religions. They were the first country to abolish, slavery, which is something commendable, to allow at the top. But it's, if Russia has so far for decades upon hundreds of years had a mixture of, like I said, various ethnic, ethnicities, religions and all that, and coalesced and peacefully coexisted. And you being from California, I'm being from New Jersey, both blue states, your state, unfortunately, has gone the way of dystopia in a lot of respects, but beautiful weather,
No, listen, I agree that some countries have done it the wrong way, or they've made mistakes along the way, and this is why we see them, and that's why we're the ones who have the opinion saying we hope Russia is doing it right. Like people like us who notice the things that go wrong when they just open the door. Like people like us, a lot of people don't like that we say stuff like that. But anyways, just any last words, brother, about this? Is it good or is it bad?
I just want to say that I want to thank you for having me on, and like I said to you in the past, and past comments, like I'm more open to to living in Russia, but like you said, it's probably best to stay, to go as a tourist. I'll probably go as like a student or something like that, and then work from there. Because funny enough, my mom studied Tsarist Russian history when she was in college before she had me, and
The mic is a little bit rough. It's coming in really choppy, really choppy. I don't know if the chat could probably let us know. The sound is a little bit, yeah.
Okay. My phone's weird, but my mom studied Tsarist Russian history before she had me in college, and a few years later, I started to to get interested in like Soviet history, like Stalin and Lenin and all that. But I'm not a communist by any means, anything like that. But I found that kind of ironic, But thank you for having me on, and have a good day, man, or what's left of it, man.
Thank you no, I have a whole day left. Thank you for joining us, man. It's not easy. All right. Guys, we are going to go to our last guest. If you're still watching this live, just know that after this next guest, we will be going over the decree again. We're going to talk about it further because I still haven't given you my opinion and my concerns with it. Let's see. Foes nuts. I don't know how to read this. This is going to be you, man. You're coming on. Let's try to keep it short so we can continue on the segment.
Здравствуйте, день. Как ваши дела?
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you. I don't want to embarrass myself by speaking bad Russian.
Мой русский плохо. Курица учит меня говорить по-русски. Yes, I know. I said chicken is teaching me Russian.
It's not so bad. It's not so bad because I understand what you're saying. So, like, for those of viewers out there, I don't speak so much Russian, but I understand randomly because when you live here, you pick it up. So, by the way, what should we call you? Because I don't want to call you nuts.
Fosnots, Marty, whatever. The
Oh yeah,
Marty,
Fosnots.
Uncle
So you've been
Marty. Everyone calls
watching.
me Uncle Marty. I'm in Maine.
Oh Jesus, brother, can you please open up with you know this channel perhaps? Have you watched my last video?
Yeah, I've watched your videos. Your videos are good, and I think your concerns are valid. Uh, Especially when it comes to immigration, you don't want uh, just anyone coming in, and going lax could be a problem. But I also see it as an advantage for Russia from a strategic point of view. It's a great psychological weapon. In the 80s, we used to put the Russians on TV. Any chance we had to put a Russian in front of a camera, we took it. And now they're doing it to us because I see your channel. There's the Canadian guy. There's the expat USA, expat American. There's the rockabilly guy. So all these people are showing up, and these channels are popping up like daisies, which I think is great.
Yeah.
But as a psychological weapon, it is fantastic because nothing is more demoralizing than seeing your people in another country. And the way this country is going is unfortunate. It's a destructive path. And I think you're going to see more channels popping up. And I think you're doing a great job. I myself would have defected to Russia years ago, but unfortunately, I'm a care provider to an elderly parent, and it's physically impossible for me to move her anywhere.
All right. I want to say though, this is a point that also was not brought up. This is, I mean, I kind of mentioned it when saying like they're gonna dangle the honey and the bees are gonna come, but exploiting that and putting it, throwing it in Western's face, like Western countries' faces, it is a huge power move. And you're totally right. Like it used to be like, hey, look, we're the land of the free. Why are your people coming? And if they do this right and they execute it right, they will be able to say, we thought you were the land of the free. Why are all these people coming towards us now? It is, I think it's like the first time Russia is actually going to put the gloves on and fight that battle, because it wasn't doing it before in a large scale, you know. That's why not a lot of people were knowing about Russia. And like channels like mine, I mean, mine is not that great, but there are some other channels that do a very good job in showing what life is like in Russia and showing the perks and showing like society. I would say that mine is like maybe par, but you're definitely right. There are other channels that are doing this, and there are popping up like daisies. What we have to watch out for though is the brainwashing. You know, like drinking our own Kool-Aid. I'm a realist. I'm a Marine.
Yeah.
You know, I don't like drinking the Kool-Aid. You know, I'm not going to be the guy that says, yeah, guys, it's really fun. Come over. It's right. Because if you have too many of that and showing the goods, then you kind of start putting that veil over your face. In this channel, I'm always going to give nuance to the reality because it's not black and white. I have to ask you a question. You're from Maine, right?
Yeah.
What the hell is in Maine?
Not much. Basically, I live in the middle of the woods, in the middle of nowhere. I was actually originally from Jersey,
Yeah.
and then when my parents got older, then I moved up here. My father died in '07 of cancer, and
Yeah.
now my mother is completely disabled, so I care for her. I was in Russia for a month in 2001, right after 9/11. So a lot of people weren't traveling. It was just when the planes were starting to go again. And I
Yeah.
went there on a romance tour, and I actually met someone there. And I don't think the organization is even in existence anymore. It was called European Connections, is what it was called, and it was a romance tour. And I was originally it was supposed to be a few weeks in Moscow and then over to St. Petersburg. But there was only 12 guys on the tour, and 11 of them all found someone. And instead of going on to St. Petersburg, we opted to stay in Moscow. So I was there for the full tour. I didn't go actually go on. So I was on. I don't know if you're familiar with the Hotel Ukraine. It's near the White House or the Duma or whatever it's an extremely large building. They may call it something else. I think it was called the Ramada. It's near New Orbot. in Moscow.
I've never heard of this. I've never heard of this, but you know what you're saying right now is like sounds like classic Russia, like the old times where you can I mean, they even had like Russian wives and expeditions for Russian like to find love. Like this kind of stuff definitely doesn't exist anymore. So you can rest assured that the company you mentioned doesn't exist.
Yeah, it's gone
Not at
now.
all.
But it was the best. It was the best tour of. I've been to a few countries, and Russia was the best. And it's got that 50s vibe to it with the technology. It's basically if you were to take the 1950s USA and transport it to Russia. That's because we didn't win the look. There was no winning and losing the Cold War. All we did was we had the Russians in check and then spun the board around, and now we're playing their hand. So all we did was change sides. I would argue that the Russians are more American than we are, because but people don't
Don't go
understand.
there. You know, don't go there because I have the same ideology. I say the same thing. I live here and I'm like, Jesus Christ, am I like in America? Like what you said that Russia's like 1950s America modernized. I tell Ksenia all the time, I say, I feel like I'm in a parallel universe. You know, like it's like it's a movie. It's exactly the same, but exactly different. Bro, I need to continue the show.
And we had the Russians in check, and all we did was spin the board around, and now we're playing their hand as the Soviets. The word America, for those that don't know, the word America translates into home ruler. And I argue that Americans and the United States are not the same thing. America is not something you find on a map. America describes a type of person. So if you believe in faith, family, and freedom, then Russia fits that description, and home ruler describes Russia more than we don't rule our home anymore. We've got millions flooding across the border unchecked, and they're just it's chaos over here.
I agree with you. And if you want, one day I'll make a video on that topic because it's absolutely right. I never thought about it that way. You know, we let the nuts run the nut house in America now. And it's definitely the chessboard has switched around. If you hear me ever saying that in a video, it was because of you. Thank you so much for joining, man.
Thank you.
Wow, that was an interesting guest. I think I learned a lot even from that small conversation from him. I see now things a lot differently. You know, he brings up a great point of how America and Russia and the Soviet Union at that time were in this Cold War. And yeah, we had them in a check, but it was not checkmate. It really, literally, when Russian gained their independence or became the Russia that we know today, they switched the board and it's been playing on their side, and they're advancing their knights and their castles are moving all over. Their squires are taking pawns. It is literally the second Cold War. I find that fascinating. Hello and welcome to this live. If you're just joining us, we are talking about the new decree that Russia has passed under President Vladimir Putin. We will be going over what that decree says on this live. But for now, we're going to look at a donation. Thank you so much for your generosity. It means a lot. Let's see, where is it? Here it is. If I were to leave with a tourist visa in pursuit of education, the flip of this, the Western limits imposed to make it impossible via education. Russia may allow it, and the US since I was 18. Nobody speaks of Western restrictions. Listen, the most difficult thing to do to migrate to Russia is going to be on the Western side in your starting country. It seems like Russia's making it a lot easier. If it's becoming harder, it's because of your home country. For instance, and I'll give you an example. In the United States, they closed the visa centers. Okay, they closed the visa centers so you can no longer process a Russian visa. So the Western countries are realizing, hey, these people are taking our citizens. These people are going to move to Russia. So yes, definitely, the Western countries are restricting their citizens to travel to Russia. They are scared, guys, and you have to, if you can, get your Russian visa as soon as possible. Take my word for it, you don't want to wait, guys. This is not the time to wait. An authentic Mexican restaurant in Russia would be a huge success. Yes, but unfortunately, I don't have the time right now to open it. My dream is to open an authentic Mexican restaurant. Guys, let's watch the video that started everything while I take a break and go to the bathroom. Tell me, this is the video of the legal professional.
There are other things that I would like to say, but I won't, because there are certain things that you need to consider, and you might probably understand. Hi everyone, I'm very happy to speak to you today, even on this video, for several reasons. And reason number one, which is amazing, in my opinion, there are so many people that for the last 3 years in Russia has been working on that, and so many people around the world that have been waiting for this moment to come. And as you already understood, I'm speaking about the new presidential decree that came into force today. So this presidential decree basically says that those foreign nationals that reside in their countries which do not support traditional values, conservative families, which promote neoliberal agenda, such foreign nationals will be able to move to Russia. And they will be able to move to Russia without a quota, which is an immigration quota set every year by Russian government for each region of Russia. So no longer the quota is required. And number two is that there is no need to pass the Russian language test. So the quota by itself would allow a foreign national to apply for a 3-year temporary residency permit. So now with this new decree, if you come from a country which supports neoliberal values, basically you are eligible to apply for a 3-year temporary residency permit without passing the Russian language test. We think this is literally changing of the whole Russian immigration system, which for the last 30 years was not focused on bringing people to Russia, specifically from the Western countries, because there was no such a trend. And now we know the trend is there. How it will work in practice? In practice, it will work in a way that you would be able to apply for a 3-month visa in your home country. Once you get this visa, you will be able to come to Russia on that private visa and submit application for a 3-year temporary residency permit. You will still need to provide documents such as police check, apostilled from the country, from your home country. You would still need to do the medical test here in Russia and some bureaucratic procedures here in Russia. It's advisable, of course, to seek for professional assistance for one reason, that once you come to Russia, you bring your documents and you think that the documents are okay. If there is a mistake, imagine you'll have to go back to correct that. So it's advisable still to consult a lawyer, although luckily, hopefully, things would be much better. That's going to happen very, very soon. The decree comes into force as of today, but there are certain provisions that will come a bit later, because what are those countries? So the decree clearly states that those countries will be, the list of those countries will be established by the Russian government. So the Russian government within the next month would determine what are those countries. Well, my wild guess is that those are so-called unfriendly countries that Russia believes that are unfriendly to Russia. I'm pretty sure that all of them will be included into this list. So once you come to Russia, you apply for the 3-year temporary residency permit. You have 3 years to study the Russian language, because the next step into your immigration process will be applying for the permanent residency. At that moment, you'll have to pass the Russian language test, but you will have 3 years. Yeah, there is no pressure on you like it is now when you come to Russia, and for many foreigners, they get a 3-month visa, and they are basically struggling to get the knowledge of the Russian language to a level where they have to pass the test within 3 months. This is quite hard, if not impossible at all. Another thing that I wanted to tell you is that as of June.
Okay, we're back. That again was the video of, I guess, an administrator, perhaps a lawyer, who's talking about the new decree. I'm going to give you my word on live. We have about 170 people. If you're watching this live right now and you need information, personal information, if you're planning on visiting Russia, I have always extended my help to everyone. You can contact me at the Wild Siberian on Telegram, and I answer everyone. I help you and I point you in the right direction. If you want to contact me for information about this new decree, as soon as we get the list, as soon as we get more information, I am not a lawyer, but I will give you all of the knowledge that I have for free. Do not have to pay anyone. Do not go seeking information. If you're not even in Russia, do not pay anyone for information. I'm telling you right now, on this channel, we've always given information for free. I've always answered 100% of everybody's questions on Telegram, and do not seek help for money. Knowledge should not cost any money. If you want to make a change in your life and this might help you, you shouldn't have to pay for it. Of course, if you come to Russia and you want to do the legal paperwork, it will cost you money because more than likely you will need a lawyer. But if I can help you get more information, knowledge should be free. Paperwork perhaps should cost money, but information should never cost money. And I think that is one of the most important things you need to understand is you do not need to look at random YouTube videos and ask people for information, and if they charge you, because there's a lot of people that might take advantage of you. So I'm going to give you now my information. This is going to be for Telegram. If you want to contact me on Telegram, you can join my channel on Telegram and contact me there. On my channel, you can ask anything you want. We have a community of friendly people, and there you can learn a lot of things like this decree. We talk about it. So all of these things you can sorry, let me get the link for you guys. On the screen, I'm posting my Telegram group. There's where you can contact me. There is what you can join, and you can talk to me directly. You don't have to go through any paywalls. You can literally have a conversation with me. I help everybody who seeks knowledge. So I'm going to pin this. Join my Telegram. The Telegram is open for everyone. Now let's continue this conversation. I didn't tell you guys that I did tell you guys that I saw a problem because Wayne mentioned that conservatives in Russia are different than conservatives in the Western countries. I'm going to give you a very nasty example of what a conservative may look like in the United States. Here we go. So this is what I'm talking about. I talked about this guy on my channel video, which again, I just made a video last night. That video is doing amazing, but this is the kind of man that I think is a conservative, and it turns into ultra conservative. And this might look like a joke, but this is a scary person to me. This kind of person is the kind of person that makes Russia look bad. Like, you don't need to be a Z person. You don't need to be like a warmonger. I had a conversation with this guy. This guy was talking about Russia conquering Istanbul. Russia should declare war on X amount of countries. It's not him who's going to be fighting. So the ideology, ideology tourism or ideology immigration is very bad. Yeah, a lot of people might think that this guy's cool. A lot of people might think that, hey, he loves Russia. But if you heard about the things that he says, they're very radical. And he's a conservative, he's an ultra conservative. And that's the kind of people that you can get if you don't pay attention. I am just saying, Russia needs to be careful to get 1,000 of these guys. That makes a crazy group and it makes an extremist group. Ultra liberals are the same as ultra right conservatives. It is the same type of cancer. That is the type of cancer I'm talking about to watch out for. That is the type of cancer we do not need in Russia. I'm speaking for myself. I'm speaking for what my values are. I'm in the middle. I love Russia. I'm married a Russian. I don't want to impose my beliefs on Russia. And I hope that Russia doesn't impose its beliefs on me. I want to assimilate naturally. So if you're coming to Russia with a mentality that you want to give to the Russians, I hope that you're smitten. Um, so look, Marsha thinks that this looks like somebody from the left. No, what you guys in Russia think it's ultra left, some people fall into that in the conservative side in America, just to break your brain a little bit. So I'm really glad that you guys got to see that and understand that ideologies are different in different countries, where if you want to bring conservatives to Russia, you might bring actual liberals to Russia, because the conservative in the United States and Canada might fall under the liberal mind in America and Canada. Okay, so do you guys have any questions? We're going to take questions from the viewers now. Thank you so much for the donations, by the way. But we're going to take regular questions now. If you have any questions, please type them in and we'll highlight them. And you guys get to have your question viewed on the live as well. Yo, Dan. Hello, brother. Welcome, Vaughn. This is a great guy and a great part of the Defense Politics Asia community, which a lot of the guys have been here. Let's see. Any questions? Do you guys have any questions for me before we continue on the conversation of the new decree? We are live streaming. We've been live streaming for about 1 hour and 20 minutes. It's been very fun. We've had live guests. We've talked about the goods and the bads of this new decree. In my opinion, this new decree has way more positive views than negative. I feel like we need to talk about the negatives. Do not be brainwashed. Okay, don't be like a person who cannot see that sometimes there are some negative things that we have to watch out for. In this channel, I will never censor myself and make Russia look like the perfect country. Russia is not the perfect country until it becomes the perfect country for you. Russia is not for everyone. Russia is now opening its doors so people can test themselves in Russia. Russia is not for beginners. This new decree is going to allow new people to test the waters in Russia. I think that's excellent, but it does come at a cost. Russia is going to have to be careful so it doesn't let lunatics in. So yeah, let's see this question by Vaughn. Do you think most migrants will spread around Russia due to its size and usefulness to the country? Actually, Vaughn, that's an amazing question. I do not think that the first immigrants will come to everywhere in Russia. I think that the first migrants will probably be in the major cities like Moscow, St. Petersburg, Novosibirsk. Why do I think that? Because it's much easier to assimilate to these cities. Moscow and St. Petersburg are at par. I mean, they're not at par. They're higher. They're higher when it comes to life, like being comfortable. These cities are much better than European cities. So if you're coming from, say, New York and you see Moscow, you're going to say this is the promised land. So it is. That's how it works. Russia's very attractive. That's why I'm saying Russia doesn't need to try to sell itself to the West through bring the immigrants that are running from the West. No, Russia can sell itself by saying how attractive it is. It's very attractive. Daniel, as a tourist, how long will they be allowed in Russia? It seems like they're going to allow people to stay up to 3 months as tourists, I think. But different countries have different tourist visas. Americans can stay up to 6 months. Some countries can stay 3 months. Some countries can stay only 30 days. Thank you so much for joining on the live, my friend. Yeah, guys, Russia has first-tier cities. Moscow and St. Petersburg are in tiers of their own. This is S tier. The rest of Europe has only A tier cities. Russia has S tier cities. I don't think that Europe has an S tier city. I just don't. What's the best city to buy a piece of land to build a house at a decent price? Very good question. Right now, I'm estimating that my house will cost $30,000 to $40,000 with the land purchased. I make videos also about this. If you don't know, look at my channel. I talk about me purchasing land inside of Russia. But I think Siberian territory or the Ural area is going to give you the best price, the best bang for your money. You will look at Russia, you will end up paying 20 to 50,000 to live comfortably for the rest of your life. That's the truth. Okay. Let me drink some water. I am losing my voice. Wow. Would we able to come and maybe mom goes to university and kid goes to school for those 3 years? Anything is possible now with this new decree. Anything is possible. You can choose to work. You can choose to go to school. A temporary residency allows you to do these things, guys. So you don't just have to be here as a tourist on a temporary residency. You can go to school. You can look for work. You can make connections. That's how it works. Hi, I'm from Bangladesh. Oh, I'm a Bangladeshi doctor. Is there any opportunities to work in Russia? Absolutely there is. Take advantage of your tourist as a tourist first. Come to Russia. I tell everybody, come to Russia as a tourist. Make connections. Find what you like. Network with people. It can change your life. If you're thinking about moving to Russia, don't move. Don't pick up and move. Come as a tourist first. Bring your paperwork, all your diplomas. Bring your certificates of achieving different things. And I guarantee you, you may run into the right person. If you're a doctor, there's a lot of work for you here in Russia. You guys don't understand. You need to understand. Russia is not perfect. Russia is probably the worst country in the world until it's not, until it becomes the perfect country for you. That is what I'm trying to tell you guys. Any country is the worst country in any given day until it becomes the best country for you. It can change your life. Why not roll the dice and try Russia? I am not promoting Russia. I'm promoting a better life for you. If you can travel to Russia and find the love of your life and find your dream job, why not roll the dice? This is not a pro-Russian advertisement. This is a pro-good life for you advertisement. Change your life. Make your life better. Russia's making it easy so you can try it out. This is why the new decree is good, because it allows you to roll the dice. It allows you to give Russia a chance to give your own life a chance. I hope you understood that, guys. S tier means above A level. S tier means if it's 1 out of 10, S tier means it's 11. It's above and beyond. S tier is that it gives more than it was expected for the best. S tier means that nothing can compare to it. It's on its own realm. Russia has cities like this. Russia has cities that are not even major cities. Like, give you an example for an S tier territory. Siberia gives a lot of land for cheap, and it gives you more liberty than, say, living in a city, because you can do a lot more with a lot of land, right? So that's how it works. Moderators, please do not give third chances. Moderators, make sure you're kicking people. There is a lot of negativity, and it's okay. But if you deliver it in a very distasteful way, you're going to get kicked by the moderators. Yeah, I believe Russia has actual, true, different freedom, guys. Russia does freedom that is not possible in the West, because in the West, you're not allowed to experiment with your freedom. It said this is it and that is it. No more, nothing less. In Russia, there's a lot of wiggle room. Russia allows you to test your freedom in different ways, and it tells you when you're wrong and it tells you when you're right. So that's how it works. Hello and welcome to the new live. This is the Wild Siberia channel, where we show what life is like not only in Siberia but everywhere else. We have conversations here like these. By the way, if you're not subscribed, please do help this channel and subscribe. It doesn't cost you guys anything to subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything to hit like. Do hit like if you can. It helps the channel grow. I want to give you guys a new perspective. There is a family that was from Texas, and they got, I think, asylum or citizenship. Let's look into that right now. Have you guys heard about this family? This is also another family that moved to Russia. Let me know if you guys have seen it. Don't skip the ads. Yeah, it does help a lot if you don't skip the ads. Give it a little bit of time. It is 12 in the afternoon now. We've been streaming for over an hour, so it does help if you watch these ads. Okay, let's look at this let's look at this news on this family. Fascinating. Let's see. Here we go. Here it is right here. Here it is, guys. So if you can't see it, this is the family that moved. Let me know if you've seen this before. Like, do you know about this family? I'll get to the donation question in a second, but leave in the comment section if you heard about this family. This is a Texan family. Let me know, comment section. Do you know anything about this Texan family? Let's look at it now. So we're going to read what it says. And it says, President Vladimir Putin on Monday signed a decree allowing foreign citizens and stateless individuals to apply for temporary residency in the country if they share traditional Russian spiritual and moral values, even in cases when person does not speak Russian. The decree states that those who oppose destructive neoliberal ideological agenda in their home country can seek humanitarian support from the Russian authorities by applying for temporary residency permit. So it seems like this family has taken advantage of this already, perhaps, or if not, they already got asylum. But does it, like I was asking people, do you know about this family? This is another large family that has moved to Russia because of their ideologies. I said that moving to a place for ideologies is probably not correct. You should probably move because you find Russian liberty attractive. Can we understand what I'm saying? I'm not saying the decree is bad. I'm just saying that moving to a place out of ideology is not good, because you might change your ideology later. You should move to a country because you love it and you love how it is. Okay? Do you watch Eli from Russia? It's a great channel for people who want to discover Russia. She also offers Russian language classes online. I do know about her. I wish she would speak to me so we can kind of have a live together. But I You know, I think that the connection between Russian and non-Russians on this platform would be game changing because we have so much to talk about, so much to compare. Thank you so much for the donation again, brother. I wish you would talk to me. How do I like Irkutsk? Irkutsk was my first home, but I've since left the city. I live in Slyudanka. I'm going to be running a poll, guys, to see if you understand what I'm saying. So, well, what is happening here? You should have all the administration. You should have all the rights, brother. No, you have all the rights to do all the different administrative things, Vaughn. So we're going to be doing a poll right now live. If you're watching and you can do watch the poll, we're going to put a poll asking, should you move to Russia? This is the question. Should you move to Russia because of ideologies or because you love Russia? That's simple. That is my question. I believe you should move to Russia because you love Russia and you love it for what it is, not because you're running away from different ideologies in your country. Your ideology can change, but your love for Russia should not change because Russia should be very attractive. Let's go on here and write this question. Everybody is welcome to answer. Love from India. I love India. Okay, let's see. We're going to do a poll here. Oh, this is the better question. Why should you move to Russia? I love Russia or I hate my country. Let's see where you guys fall. This is going to be a fascinating poll. This is going to be a fascinating poll. I don't think that it just came to me, and this is the much better question. Why move to Russia? Because you love Russia or you hate your country? Let's see. This is going to tell me a lot about who you are. I think Russia should bring more people who love Russia and not necessarily hate their country. I think this is a really good question. And I think that it gives us an opportunity to get in the brain of the people, right? I moved to Russia because I love Russia. I married in Russia. I'm so happy. I'm so happy that we're having this conversation, guys. It is a big, big game changer for Russia to open up its doors with this new decree, by the way. If you're just joining, this is why we're having this conversation. This is the good question. How do you love Russia if you've never been there? You can't move to Russia if you've never been to Russia. So the question is why you should move to Russia if you hate your country or you love it. I'm going to answer your question and everything's going to make sense. You should not move to Russia if you've never visited Russia first. I moved to Russia after I visited. You should never move to Russia before once visiting. I mean, you have to visit Russia first, or you have to know about Russia. People who move to Russia usually come here as tourists first, then they see that they like it and they decide to stay. But you shouldn't, in my opinion, run from your country and expect Russia to fix your problems. There's problems in Russia too. And if you're a traitor in your country, you might be a traitor to Russia. No, I didn't word it wrong. I just, I think that you guys have to understand that to move to some place, you should probably do your due diligence. It's up to you to make sure that you like the place. It should be up to you to decide, I need to investigate this further. If you investigate that you hate your country, you already investigated that you dislike it. So you should do the investigation to see if you like Russia and then decide, am I moving to Russia because I hate my country or because I like Russia? That's what I'm trying to say. If the poll makes no sense, we can shut the poll now, but the question makes sense to me. and hopefully it makes sense to you after I explained it. This is really funny too. I'm not voting because I'm from Russia. Dobro пожаловать, my Ruski friends. Yeah, that's we're gonna close the poll a little bit later. I am going to try to stream until 2 hours. I am losing my voice. But I hope that you guys are enjoying this topic, this conversation. I feel that not enough people I feel like people like, yeah, the nitpicking, I'm okay with that because I'm okay with explaining myself. What I'm not okay with is like after I explain myself, people become more belligerent. I'm always on the fence on everything, guys. I'm always like, I'm not in any one side. You know, I've been through life, and I understand that, man, life is always so unpredictable. If you feel one way the next day, you might feel another way. So this is why I do a lot of things where it's nuanced, where it's in the gray zone. I love talking about the gray zone because in 2024, there's so many radicals to both sides. Thank you so much for the donation. Wow. Again, I am so thankful for you guys' support. Moving now, younger generations, most are in debt, paycheck to paycheck. That's true. Doesn't work the same anymore. For the wealthy class, since the debt limit is us, Russian immigration is okay. So if you move to Russia, it's much harder for you to get in debt. Why? Because in Russia, you're not going to have the welfare system. You're not. It's just not going to be there, guys. Russia is not a welfare state. Don't come here thinking that you're going to be in unemployment. No, if you're not going to work, you're not going to survive. But if you work, you will find more opportunities. You will find a playing ground that's a little bit more even. I'll give you an example. In Russia, there's a lot of immigrants from many countries that have successful businesses. But if you're coming from a Western country, let's say you know something that the Russia doesn't have already, you have the ability to change the game in Russia, adding value to yourself. Does that make sense, Manga? I hope that makes sense. You are going to be on a much even playing ground than the one back home. That's how it works. I am a pensioner in Australia, and I am watching all the videos about Russia. And can I move to Russia on a pension? So you can move to Russia on a pension. There are people that do the whole crypto thing. I have to say it. There's people who know how to do it. I don't know how to do it. Excuse me. I'm drinking too much water. If you're on a pension, there is ways of you to live in Russia. If you want to know more, join my Telegram and I can guide you in the right direction. Thank you so much for the donations, guys. It really means a lot. It really means a lot. Yeah. Guys, it's a huge misconception that you cannot bring a lot of cash to Russia. The biggest problem is probably going to be your home country. But as far as Russia is concerned, after 10,000, you might have to declare it. And after 100,000, you have to show the source. But Russia's not going to steal your money. You can literally bring life-changing amount of money to Russia, say 50,000. That's enough for you to retire on in some places. So do not think that you're not going to be able to bring cash. Thank you, Siberian Hermano, for letting us know that. It's really important. Here we have I'm so glad that you guys are bringing up your situations. If I set myself up in a similar situation to you in Siberia, how much do you expect to spend each month to live? Oh, okay. This is a really good question. So $2,000 in a place like where I'm at, you're talking about 4 to 5 times. Okay, no, that's an exaggeration. you're talking about 3 to 4 times more the average income. So if you have a place to stay, $2,000, you don't need that much. You're talking about money that you actually $2,000 a month. Sorry, you kind of broke my mind right there. Let me get back on track. If you want to set up a life in Russia, $2,000 is more than enough. I'm sorry if the answer is a little bit too short for you, but $2,000, you can have a full-blown family, a cat like I have. You can have a cat and feed the cat, and a dog and a friend for $2,000 a month. Okay. So really good question. If you want more information, you can contact me directly, my friend. Thank you so much for the donation. I can't stress it enough. The amount of money you're talking about is ridiculous. You can survive where I'm from on $600 to $700 a month easily. Okay. You don't need to worry about money if you have $2,000 a month. It's ridiculous. Yeah. If you don't know also, yeah, almost nobody in my town earns $2,000 a month. This is a really good question here. I'm going to elaborate how it's done. As far as I know and how it works, you still have to come to Russia on a tourist visa or another visa. Let's make that clear. You cannot just show up to Russia and say, I want a resident visa, a temporary residency. No, that's not how it works. The way it works is you will come to Russia with a visa, and you will have to do it the same way. You still have to process your background check that has to be apostilled. You still have to do that. The main thing is you have to come to Russia as a tourist first. You have to come on a visa first, and then you have to apply as a temporary resident. Does that make sense, Chow? I hope that clears everything up. You still have to come under normal circumstances. Nothing's changed there. One second, guys. I'm looking at something really quickly here. Okay, so again, the average income in Russia is not what you would get in the West. So if you're a pensioner, if you're retired, guys, it's really a good move if you can move your money and receive it in Russia. No, you cannot. No, you cannot. You cannot apply for this residency outside of Russia. This is going to have to be done inside of Russia. As far as I know, this is done inside of Russia. This is not something you can do. Maybe you can probably seek asylum, perhaps outside of Russia, but you cannot apply for the residency outside of Russia. This is done inside of Russia. You still have to make it to Russia and then apply. Okay? That's how it works. No, you do not have to leave. You do not have to leave because this is a new decree that's going to allow you, I think, to apply for the temporary residency and start the new life. I'm not sure on that, actually. I'm going to have to look it up. But I'm like 75% sure that you wouldn't have to leave because this decree is almost like a safe haven pact that Russia is making with the people that are going to come. This is a big thing. Like, it's making sure that if you want to come as a tourist, okay, but if you want to stay, here's an opportunity. By the way, guys, I do see that you guys are having. I have the Boosty donation, guys. If you guys want to support, do consider doing it through Boosty. It does get to my Russian it does get to our family bank account, like here in Russia. YouTube does not directly deposit donations to Russia, as you guys know. So if you guys do want to support this channel in the future, the opportunity is there through the link. It is the Boosty. It is the only way to directly support us here in Russia. But your donations are welcome anyways. Like, I do receive the money that you guys give through YouTube. It just takes a lot longer, whereas the Boosty does directly send into Russia. How can you buy some land and build a house? I'm making a video on this. I'm already producing videos on how I purchased land, how much it cost, and how it all works. So if you want to know more information, do stay with the channel, because I will be putting more information on it. Yes, you can come as a tourist and then apply for residency. It is totally possible. I know many people who already did it before the decree. I know many people who did it before the decree. They had to learn Russian. Now you can come as a tourist and still not have to learn Russian, but still get the residency. The average lot is 600 meters squared. The average land lot is not an acre. The average land lot is 600 meters squared. That is a dacha size. I don't know what it would be in anything else. I only know meters right now. Yeah, this is a really good advice. If you're a programmer, if you know anything about technology, Russia is literally begging the world at this point, come in and try it in Russia. Really good opportunity. No, this is a fake news. Non-citizens can buy land. Non-citizens can buy land. How long does it take to fly? Look, it takes about 6-7 hours to fly into actual Siberia, and on train, it can take up to from like 2 to 5 days to reach the Far East. So that's how it works. 800 square meters is a quarter of an acre. So I have 1,200 square meters. So that gives you an idea how much I have. Again, guys, if you want to support this channel, please do it on Boosty. I do get a lot of comments saying, how can I help and support the channel? The best way to do it is through Boosty, because the money goes straight to Russia here. And if you don't know, I need to put on my I have 2 herniated discs. I need to put on my waistband really quickly. Over here. Yeah. So the war in Afghanistan really messed me up, because I have a torn shoulder, and it's still torn. And because I only can use my left hand for a lot of things, I got 2 herniated discs. So I try to take care of myself by wearing this thing. Okay, we're going back in. Let's see. Greetings from Flagstaff. Hey, welcome, Greg. Nice to see you again, brother. So yeah, we were talking about the language problem, or the language waiver. Guys, babe, can you bring me water, please? The Russian language is one of the hardest languages to learn in the world. With Russia making it to where you don't have to learn Russian to have a temporary residency for 3 years, game changer. Another thing is, they're not going to force you to stay and get your permanent residency. You can live in Russia in a temporary residency. It's absolutely possible. You can renew the temporary residency after that. I'm not sure if they're going to say, no, you cannot because you haven't learned Russian. I think this is really, really good. You know, it's such it's like Russia's really spreading the doors wide open. If you guys don't take advantage of this, and if you ever wanted to visit Russia, this would be the best time to do it. This would be the best time to do it, because there is no way it can get any better than this anytime soon. It is absolutely the best time to visit Russia, because you can stay now for 3 years if you end up liking it. Isn't it amazing? Target Indian audience. A lot of new subscribers will add ads as your subscribers. You know, I love India. I think India has helped Russia significantly. I think India's population is boosting the Russian economy, but Russian resources is also boosting Indian society. So the relationship that India has with Russia, I do want to take advantage of that. So if you're from India and you're watching this, share this with your friends. Let all the Indian people know that they can come to Russia and they can really change their lives. I know a lot of Indian people. My sister is actually dating an Indian guy from Bangalore. So if my sister marries this guy, I'll have Indians as part of my family. It's actually incredible that you mentioned that. The decree is a miracle. I will already be heading there expecting to do a language test. Yeah, this is an actual miracle because Russian, my immigration laws were very strict. Coming to Russia was very difficult, but now you have the ability to jump over the biggest hurdle, which was language. Now you can come and not have to worry about it. It's an absolute game changer for it can change people's lives. Okay, you could be the person that leaves your country, comes to Russia, starts a business, and starts a new life. Isn't that fascinating? I am already here. I don't have to take advantage of it. I've already been married. I'm going to try to do it the old-fashioned way, get my residency. But if I fall under this new decree, then so be it. I'm not going to lie to you. I had problems with it, but I'm realistic. Everything comes with the good and the bad. And on this channel, we don't hide the bad and the ugly. One second. I need to plug in my computer. Here we go. We need to make sure we have enough power. The power is dying on the computer. Guys, stick with me for 1 second. I have to make sure everything's running smoothly here. I am trying to figure out what my issue is here with my mouse. Okay, I guess I can disconnect this. All right, here we go, guys. I'm back. I posted the wrong link. It should be this one. Oh, I can't even see my own message. Okay, so yeah, again, I think that's the right link for the Boosty. If anybody's into, yeah, I don't know if it's the right one. I don't know if it's the right one. I don't know if it's working. It's not loading here. Here in Russia, by the way, there are many websites that don't work, obviously. I don't know if I put the right one, but it doesn't matter. Okay, so language test. I'm going to give you an example of what I've learned in Russia, what I know right now. I know how to say like "Здравствуйте," "Привет," all the simple things. "Я люблю рыбалку," like this simple things because I love fishing. But I've been here for 2 years. My wife, she speaks more English to me than she does Russian, so I haven't picked it up so well. So you can see it would help me out because I haven't learned Russian. This new decree is definitely going to open the doors for me if I so happen to use it. Can you talk about how to get there from the United States? Yes, I can. How if money? Okay. So coming to Russia is very simple for one reason. Now many countries are flying into Russia. When the conflict in Ukraine started, it was very hard to come to Russia. I know because I had to go through every hoop. Depending on what state you are in the United States, it's going to choose the route for you. Also, depending on where in Russia you want to go to, that's going to change what country you fly in from. Alexander, what I can tell you is this. There's a lot of people doing crypto. There's a lot of people who are receiving their benefits. If you want to come to Russia, the finding flights it's very simple. There's babe, it was Turkish Airlines, right?
Where?
Fly from Moscow to Moscow to St. Petersburg. I mean St. Petersburg and Istanbul.
Yeah. Oh no, it was Belarus.
There was two of them anyways.
Yeah.
There is Turkish Airline that flies straight into Russia. There's also a Belarusian company that flies directly in. But if you want to pay with your Western money, Turkish Airline will do it. You need to come as a tourist. And once you're here, I'm sure you'll be able to find how to bring your money in. Okay? That's all I have to tell you. If you want more information, you can contact me directly, but you need to come to Russia and see if you like it first. I hope that answered your question. Thank you so much for the donation. Hello from New Zealand. Hello, one of my best friends here in Russia is actually from New Zealand. So it's really cool that you're watching from New Zealand. Love from Bangladesh. Can you please tell how the Russian feel about the South Asian countries like Bangladesh? So in Russia, people do not, how can I say this? Like Russian people are not so judgmental like other countries are. Russian people are not really judgmental about world politics. Russians care more about what's happening in Russia, like they should, and Russians care more about what's happening now, especially in Russia. I hope that answers your question. Do not fear what Russians think about you and your country. You should think about what Russians think about you when you come to Russia. Russians live more in the moment, okay? Yes, and I figured you were Russian, and it's really cool that you were born in Vladivostok. I hope that this is helping some people so that they understand that this can be a life-changing thing for them. I don't want them to think that it's the move to make, but I want them to see it as an option. Again, I am not here promoting Russia. Russia is not the best country in the world. Russia is not perfect. Russia can be the perfect country for you. Russia can be the best country in the world for you. I don't want you to come to Russia if you are running away from something. I want you to come to Russia because you want to run toward something that you find attractive. Okay? And I have to slow it down to tell you guys like this because I know I get excited. I know I talk too fast. I know I talk too loud. But you need to understand that this new decree opens the door for the people that want to come with the right mentality. Yeah, a lot of people still have to wait, like you say, for the Social Security. But I would advise you to come before you retire as a tourist. Do not come to Russia with plans to retire immediately. Edelwolf. Is that right? Is that German? Edelwolf. Hallo, ich bin Adelbert. Ja, mein Name ist Adelbert. Und Edelwolf, das ist Deutsch, ja? Ja, keine Ahnung. Is that German? Edelwolf. Anyways, do not wait for your Social Security to go max. Come to Russia as a tourist first. Okay? This is the most optimal thing. Jesus. I see a little bit of German and I remember I used to live in German. And I have a German name, which is really funny for a Mexican. Let's see. Yes. So I advise you to come as soon as possible. Get your visa for tourists as soon as possible because you might be one of the first people who get the Russian residency. Okay? Let's go one more time, guys. We're gonna watch this video one more time while I take one more bathroom break. We're going to watch the video where the professional talks about it one more time, and then we're gonna talk about this countries that will be eligible for this. I have an idea. I talked about this in my previous video. Where do you apply for a tourist visa? In your home country, there should be either Russian agencies or there should be a Russian embassy. You have to be going to the consulate. And by the way, I hope my German was okay and understandable. I know a lot of people probably don't expect me to randomly speak German, but I know more German than Russian, and I've lived in Russia much longer. Yeah, no problem. I have a way of doing my lives where I like to engage with people. I like to make sure that we are in the same page, okay? So guys, I'm going to put this esquete. So we're going to put this video now.
I was keeping silent, but as of June 10th, I am working as a first deputy director. Hi everyone, I'm very happy to speak to you today, even on this video, for several reasons. And reason number one, which is amazing, in my opinion, there are so many people that for the last 3 years in Russia has been working on that, and so many people around the world that have been waiting for this moment to come. And as you already understood, I'm speaking about the new presidential decree that came into force today. So this presidential decree basically says that those foreign nationals that reside in their countries which do not support traditional values, conservative families, which promote neoliberal agenda, such foreign nationals will be able to move to Russia. And they will be able to move to Russia without a quota, which is an immigration quota set every year by Russian government for each region of Russia. So no longer the quota is required. And number two is that there is no need to pass the Russian language test. So the quota by itself would allow a foreign national to apply for a 3-year temporary residency permit. So now with this new decree, if you come from a country which supports neoliberal values, basically you are eligible to apply for a 3-year temporary residency permit without passing the Russian language test. We think this is literally changing of the whole Russian immigration system, which for the last 30 years was not focused on bringing people to Russia, specifically from the Western countries, because there was no such a trend. And now we know the trend is there. How it will work in practice? In practice, it will work in a way that you would be able to apply for a 3-month visa in your home country. Once you get this visa, you will be able to come to Russia on that private visa and submit application for a 3-year temporary residency permit. You will still need to provide documents such as police check, apostilled from the country, from your home country. You would still need to do the medical test here in Russia and some bureaucratic procedures here in Russia. It's advisable, of course, to seek for professional assistance for one reason, that once you come to Russia, you bring your documents and you think that the documents are okay. If there is a mistake, imagine you'll have to go back to correct that. So it's advisable still to consult a lawyer, although luckily, hopefully, things would be much better. That's going to happen very, very soon. The decree comes into force as of today, but there are certain provisions that will come a bit later, because what are those countries? So the decree clearly states that those countries will be, the list of those countries will be established by the Russian government. So the Russian government within the next month would determine what are those countries. Well, my wild guess is that those are so-called unfriendly countries that Russia believes that are unfriendly to Russia. I'm pretty sure that all of them will be included into this list. So once You come to Russia, you apply for the 3-year temporary residency permit, you have 3 years to study the Russian language, because the next step.
All right, guys, I have a surprise for you soon. Ksenia is going to be joining us on the live stream because we have very, very important news. You know, we did get married, but today Ksenia is going to receive something very important, guys. You guys are going to be, you guys are going to have the ability to know when you get married, there's different steps that you have to go through. And actually, this feeds straight into the new decree between relationships. So Ksenia is going to come on the live. This is going to be the first live we do as a married couple. This is huge. This is huge. I'm so excited for this. A lot of people have been asking for this. You know, we've been very busy because of the wedding. We've had so many things to do. But guess what? If you give us maybe like 2 to 3 minutes, how long, babe? Yeah, maybe like 2 to 3 minutes, she's going to be on the live. Give a like for Ksenia for coming on the live soon.
I can get ready questions.
Yeah, you guys can have the questions ready. I'm working on making babies, guys. I'm trying, but it's not as easy as it sounds. I'm sorry. Sorry, maybe it's not maybe it's inappropriate to say, but no, it's a natural thing. I want to have kids. Yeah.
You don't need to talk about that.
It's Russians always talk about making babies, anyways. Okay.
So what?
You remember you have to speak a little bit loud.
Okay. I will try my best.
Can you guys see us? Can you guys see Ksenia?
Hi everyone. I think they can see me.
Let us know. Also, you guys can you can talk and see if they can hear you.
Hi everyone again. If you can hear me, I hope you can hear me normally.
You just keep looking there.
I try. Look.
No, I worry about this.
Okay. I know what you can see me, obviously, but I hope you can hear me clearly too.
Okay, so tell them what we're going to do right now. Why you're getting ready.
I finally my passport with my last name ready.
Yeah.
And I will have Spanish last name.
So look at that. So Ksenia and I got married, as you guys know, and we actually made a live about it. You can watch it after this live. You can watch how we got married live. But what's important about this is that Ksenia's name is going to change.
Already changed.
Yeah. Her official name is now?
In Russian, it's Castellon. In Spanish, it will be Castellon.
Exactly. So in about 15 minutes, we will have to go, but we're going to go pick up Ksenia's new passport with her new name.
And now it's really difficult for me. I need to change everything. Papers for land, for house, drive license, all medical papers, everything what I have, everything I must change. Even my bank card, I need to change.
Yeah, do you hear that? Because she married me, and obviously she wanted to change her name. I didn't want to force her to do it, but she's gonna have to change all of her paperwork. And understand that when you come to Russia, you need to have all the paperwork right?
Yes.
If you come to Russia and you want to apply, you need to have everything apostilled, and your name has to be correct. All the paperwork has to be correct. If you have one name in one place and one name in the other, you're probably not going to be accepted. Russians love their paperwork. So I'm using Ksenia as an example. She's going to have to change everything, even like her cell phone connection. Everything's got to change. Let's look at this. Take that woman on a baby making date on me. Oh, that's funny. How do I meet my own Russian girl to make babies with? You need to come to Russia. You have any advice for an American who wants to date Russian women?
I don't know what advice you can give, because it doesn't matter what nationality this person have. You just need to find the right person for yourself, and that's it. And just be a normal and honest person. Be nice with a person who you love.
Would you say that Russian women, do they like feminine men, masculine men? Because in America, we have both. We have femme boys, like feminine boys.
Russian women
how I know, Russian woman like a strong man who can prepare his own family, his woman, and be loyal, never cheat, never. Like if I have men who cheat on me, I will never be with this man again.
And in America, there's a lot of men and women that come back together over and over and over again. But I feel that Ksenia's idea is probably because she's a Soviet.
I'm too old.
Yeah. What is the heritage mix? Ksenia is like 100% Russian, or what do you think?
I still wondering what blood I have, because we don't have any person in this world who have clean blood with only one blood. That's why it's really interesting for me know what else I have in my blood. And I can't imagine. I don't know.
I'm Spanish and Native American, basically. I'm the classic mestizo.
But for me, it's funny because sometimes I make joke with my father, because when we live in Mexico, I feel myself like home. I like people. I like language. I like music. Mexican music, really beautiful. Modern and even old music, really beautiful. And I all the time make joke for my father, like probably I have something from Mexico in my blood. I don't know.
Well, you're gonna give Mexican babies and Mexican Russian babies, Russian Mexican American babies, and it's gonna be amazing. So if you're just joining this live stream, the fact that we got married does not guarantee residency. Okay, let me say that again. Just because you get married does not guarantee residency, guys. This new decree actually makes it much easier. You don't need to be married. You don't need to be in school. You don't need to be working. You can literally come as a tourist to Russia and explore it and stay as a resident. What do you think? Is this a good thing for people like me?
Yeah, I think so.
What do you think if more people come to Russia? Are you worried about anything with that?
A little bit worried about this, because every people who come in Russia, they not all people good. Like they come here for made like normal life with people who are around you and be nice to them. Some people can be mean, aggressive, and I don't want people like that. I even don't want Russian be like that, aggressive or racist or something like this. I want to live in peace. I don't know. That's why if people who come here, I want them be nice with people around, just live happy.
Do you think that from what you know on the television, or let's compare Mexico, would you think that Mexican people are aggressive to tourists, or is it an aggressive society?
I can say how I see it in Mexico. They're so friendly. They're like, where are you from? Siberia. What? Where is it? It's different land or different world. What's that? And they was so curious and nice. They all the time look like I have something special. They was so nice. Even sometimes when we go to the market, buy some fruits and vegetables, and remember they give us for free some bananas,
Yeah,
plátano in
yeah.
Spanish.
The truth is, though, like in Russia, they're not going to be as friendly as the Mexican people.
Yeah, it's true. It's really true. That's why probably I feel myself like at home in Mexico, because they're so friendly. They walk on the street and they look at you like they know you.
Okay, can you tell people what to expect? How do you see foreigners who come to Russia? What do you think when you see them?
For me, it's like, oh wow, it's interesting, but probably because it's big country and we have. I saw already when I even was small, I saw many people from different countries here, and we know from news what some foreigners made bad things in Russia, and we little start be scary see them, and you don't know what expect. It's good or bad. That's why for me it's a little bit scary if many foreigners will be here. You don't know what expect. Like,
sorry, babe, can you move forward here?
oh,
Sorry, I blocked you.
oh no, it's fine.
No, I blocked you on the other shot.
I'm just.
Am I able to start my own business now? So if you were going to bring a certain amount of capital to Russia, I'm sure it is possible. Like investment companies, You just need a lot of money, I think. But I'm going to look this up, Beardy. By the way, guys, if you don't know, Beardy is the architect basically of our house, our future house that we're building. This man has designed it to the image that Xenia has wanted. We love this guy. I'm gonna look up this information for you, okay? I'm wondering if you can start a business on this temporary residency. I'm gonna be asking this question. This is the really important question because if you want to come to Russia as an entrepreneur, this would be a plus. This would be a plus. So, guys, do we have any further questions? Again, thank you guys so much for all of the support. We will be dropping maybe 2 more videos this week. We do a mixture of everything, right?
Yeah, we'll try.
We do bunch of outdoor stuff. Like we're going back to the old days. Again, I just have to say it again because we do the YouTube ban thing has taken a little bit of income from the channel. If you want to support, it's through Boosty. It's on the description. Thank you so much. Do you want to say anything to them because it's your first live in a long time?
Yeah. I want to say thanks a lot for everyone who support us, who give all your donation on our wedding day. It was really pleasure, and we still don't say thanks a lot for everyone who sent money, Russian, not Russian, everyone. Thanks a lot. It's mean a lot for us, and it's really will help us made our house because right now we try work so hard and start building. And anyways, we probably will need fly back to Mexico, made my papers what when we have babies, we have all papers right, what we can go easily visit his family and live here with my family. That's why we both need to prepare our paperwork.
She brought up a good point. So we are working on a video for our wedding, but the live is up. But if you're watching and you donated during that live also from our wedding, thank you so much. And if you're donating now, we are working on a wedding video specifically for that. Can foreigners join the Russian army? So you have to be you have to be a citizen to join the regular army. There are foreign legions, I guess, but if you're not a citizen of Russia, it's illegal for you to join the Russian military. If you're an American, because it's illegal for Americans to fight for other countries. So, yeah, if you guys have any architect stuff, Beardy is the guy to go to. Thank you so much for the support. And yeah, go watch our wedding video. It's live. It's still on the live chat. It's posted on the live feed. Thank you.
Yeah, for me it was funny. Honestly, I watching this live myself when everything done because I don't know how you feel. And I saw like my nervous stay outside because when we come, we stay with my friend and my father outside. And yeah, I'm nervous. I'm shaking. Simon and Svetlana saw me in this moment. I was really nervous. I can't breathe. And I look your live stream.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh my God, I'm so nervous. It was so funny for me. But finally, it's done. Now, no nervous.
Can you show that?
Maybe it will not focus a little bit. Oh yeah, it's focused now. It's good what I made my nails.
And I have just a regular one. Again, watch the wedding video, guys. Get on your tourist visa, travel to Russia, get your residency permit, your temporary resident permit. This is a massive move in the right direction for Russia. See you guys later. No, those are fake stones, guys. Bye.
Bye.